I'd like to welcome everybody to the beautiful home of David and Dina Reese here in the Upper West Side of New York City. We are overjoyed and out of our minds that Avraham Sutton is here. I personally get extremely terrified when he comes, and I sometimes don't like it when he comes because I can't hide. He sees through me, so I get scared. See, he's doing it. He just did it. Okay, so I'd like to welcome everybody here. We have some interesting things going on. Avraham has taken some of the books from before, and he's going to speak about it. Incredible new book, bound by incredible people from Queens, who's going to speak in a few minutes. They're helping him out. Let's see. We have to thank Dina for having us here tonight. It's all because of her and her family. Dina's under the weather. She couldn't be here. She's upstairs. So Avraham will be in Manhattan this Sunday at the Kalbach Shul from 9:30 to 1:30 with Rabbi Sammy Intrader and Rabbi Naftali Citron. And singer Shlomo Katz is going to come sing. So it's really cool. It's inexpensive. I think it's $25. You have to go to the kalbachshul.org website.
That's the Breslov Day of Learning.
Breslov Day of Learning, correct. Thank you. Just worked a 9-hour day. So also Avraham will be here next Wednesday, for the farewell speech. We'll go to Yerushalayim right after this. Avraham is in Queens the whole week with these beautiful people here from the Bukhari community. Benny is going to come speak about it. Let's see, anything else? My website is excitingjudaism.com. You can come see the schedule. And Baruch haba, everybody. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Avraham. Benny, say a few words.
Yes, okay. No, it's okay. What can I tell you? It was by chance that I got in contact with Rabbi Avraham. Spiritual technology is about, like Rabbi Avraham said Friday night in our shul, it's about unplugging yourself from the physical realm and plugging yourself to the spiritual realm, which means taking yourself away from the mahut, the energy that you have of being in this physical world, and kind of connecting yourself to your spiritual self, which is, many Mefarshim say, what is your spiritual self? It's your neshama, it's your soul. Initially, our project that we started last year and a half, which is still an ongoing project, a very difficult project, a very strenuous project and stressful project, is translating the Sephardic Siddur called the Od Yosef Chai by Rabbi Yosef Chaim Mizrahi, which is based on, again, one of the greatest Kabbalistic figures and sage in Iraq called Chacham Ben Ish Chai, Chacham Yosef Chaim, which everyone who knows the Ben Ish Chai was a very outstanding writer and outstanding person who knew Kabbalah in his time. Just a little brief concept, the Bukharian community is a very, very, it was a community like New York. If anyone knows a little bit of history, Bukhara was the silkworm country. It was a silkworm city. Every businessman was there. To give a quote of one of the travelers who came to Bukhara, he mentioned how he went to Bukhara and he met one businessman in the Bukharian community. And he was a traveler from England to the city of Bukhara. The book is called the Emir of Uzbekistan, which was the king of Uzbekistan. And when in his experiences, he experienced the Emir. He saw how the Emir was very, not anti-Semitic, but he would say the Bukharian Jews were not allowed to wear turbans, but they had to wear our special kippah that we have today, that identified as being Jewish. And he wrote that how he went to one businessman who was a Bukharian Jew, and he learned in Oxford. He knew English, French, and he had so many language. He had a multi-language individual, even at that time. And he was a prominent businessman. And there was also another historical point where one of the greatest midrashic books called Otiot de Rabbi Akiva, the letters of Rabbi Akiva, and there's two versions. One version was written by an individual who came from Syria, like Rabbi Abraham from Syria, right, descent. And he came from Syria and went to Bukhara, and he actually writes the completion of rewriting, recopying that medrash, which is a very classic medrash, And he says, I Rabbi Elchanan Cohen, have finished this book from the river, I forgot the river's name, a very famous river in Uzbekistan, today, this and this date. So Bukhara wasn't just Bukharian Jews. Bukhara was a compilation of many Jews. We're actually, if you know a little bit more about it, we were a venue for the Holocaust survivors or individuals from Europe in running away. So I feel, in a way, that I'm getting closer to my roots by dealing with Rabbi Avraham. And it was kind of an opportunity that I saw. It was about a year and a half after. I said, you know what? I got more in depth in the publishing, and I met my friend Michael. It was a long relationship as well, over a year and a half relationship. And we have basically side by side the same goals. And when I told him about this book and I told him about what we're doing, we made a decision to do big things. We had our first live online radio station with Rabbi Avraham called ShamirRadio.com. We're doing a second one this coming Saturday night. It's an Android and an iPhone app. You can download it. The first one was a little bit of a trial. It was the first live show. You know what I mean? But hopefully we'll grow into it. The actuality, since it was a trial, we'll have it available on ShamirRadio.com to download his shiur. By the way, he talks a lot there. It's 2 hours worth of talking about spiritual technology. Me and our co-hosts, we asked him very hard questions. We apologize for that, but it's there, and it's very unique shiur.
Speaking also next Motzei Shabbos, yes?
Yeah, he's speaking again Motzei Shabbos from 10 to 12. It's a 2-hour session. It's going to be more, lively.
Yes,
Huh?
online.
Online, ShamirRadio.com, or if you have an iPhone and an Android, you can also.
Can you spell the
SHAMIR radio.com. It's actually on the CD. All right. The CDs are for free. All the lectures have been sponsored in memory of Nisan ben Shimon Vishirin Itzchakov. Okay. So again, I can tell you one thing that I've experienced with this book. This book is amazing.
He created the cover.
I didn't want to say that, but this book is an amazing book, and I'll tell you why. And I want to just mention one last thing, and then I'll let Rabbi Avraham talk. The reason why I even took upon myself to write, not to write, he wrote it, but to basically get this thing done, to get his books out there. The Rav Nachman writes, you said it's Breslov Day in Karlbach. Actually, not to boast, but I read all of the Likutei Moharan. And the actual thing that Rav Nachman Breslov says, and it's a very powerful message. He says sometimes for a person to understand one concept in Torah, he has to learn so many other concepts till he can get to that one concept. I never found anybody that can explain the concepts of the Gra, of the Ari, and it took me a long time. He knows I discuss personal issues with the rabbi also, but it took me a long time to get to the point in reading and learning Hebrew. It's about 15 years to know how to read the Ari, to know how to read the Likutei Moharan, to know how to read the Gra. It took me a long time. And you don't know the gift he has. He's putting it all for you in English. This does not exist. I'm telling you this right now. I'm sure you guys know it already. But it does not exist. It's something that he has spent his whole lifetime to get to. And it's amazing. And this is one of the reasons why I jumped to print this book. It costs a lot, but I jumped to print this book. All right, so I want to give the floor to Rabbi Avraham Bechal Mechila again.
I'd like to say one thing. Please hold your questions towards the end. Please hold your questions to the end. If you want to ask something, maybe Rabbi will answer, but we can't get off track. We have an hour and 15 minutes. Please hold your questions towards the end. Thank you so much.
Okay, so shalom.
Hello.
So this book is, be careful when you read this book. It will obligate you to think in a different way, and not just think in a different way, but look at your life in a different way, and look at what's happening in our world in a different way. At one point, in the last chapter, before the appendices, so I I say in the whole book, and I'll go into a little bit more, is what this period of time is. What you've heard me speak about in the past, but this is like the most complete way that I've been able to express it, is the moment that we're living in, the meaning of the fact that we're living at the time that we're living in. Just to get you to the very end, I say, this is a call to all souls. Gather at your respective posts. Contact your kindred souls. Jews, prepare in the next few years to move to Israel. This will culminate in the ultimate ingathering that our prophets spoke about. Jews who are involved in the sciences and in the spiritual disciplines must be made aware of the benefit for themselves and for the people and for the world. When the dry bones begin to assemble in the land of Israel according to the godly plan, no nation will even think of opposing it. When the Jewish people begin to understand their role in the messianic drama, others will automatically join in. For Israel's chosenness does not exclude anybody. It is a mandate to help bring the entire creation to perfection. All these impossible things will happen in our generation. Besides being enjoyable, however, this is a matter of life and death, a matter of survival. Time is running out. So the responsibility of a call of this nature to wake up to our soul mission, right? And that's really the emphasis here. A soul mission to make a shift in the way we look at things. And you're not going to get a lot of support in this from the world. But on the other hand, the books and the movies that are being made will support it. Because there's hidden messages in the movies and hidden messages in the books. There's powerful things going on. It's just at the conscious level, Western civilization is incapable of admitting what's happening. It's the change of guards. It's another world entering. Now, in our tradition, it's very clear that there have been 4 exiles. The 4 exiles, not including Egypt. Egypt is called the prototype. Notice the Torah itself, the 5 books of Moses, are not part of history. In a sense, they precede. They are prehistory. History begins when we go into the land of Israel at the end of the Torah. And from that point on, we go into the land of Israel, we build the first temple, and then we go into exile, into Babylon. That's the first exile. We come back to the second and build the second temple, but it's under the auspices of Persia. So even though we're in the land of Israel, but it's the Persian exile, the Persian Empire. Then Greece conquers Alexander. In terms of the totality, he's considered Greek, even though he's Macedonian. He conquers Persia. It's a major ideological battle to get rid of the Persian idea of what the world is about. And then so the Greeks then have their civilization. They've been there the whole time. It's just that they didn't come onto the forefront of the historical drama. They didn't come on stage to be the ruler, to be the empire that rules. And the last one is Rome. And Rome itself has stages. And we're in the last stage of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire of Aesop. And we're told that as the last stages unfold, that it'll almost seem like it's all over, right? Maybe it's that way with every exile. Haman at the end of the Persian exile. Whatever. But whatever the case, so it'll almost seem like the Jewish dream, the Jewish vision, the vision of Moses, of Abraham, the vision of David, of Joseph, the ultimate vision of perfection of mankind, the perfection or the rectification of the sin of Adam, the bringing back of mankind to Eden, to the Edenic state. It'll almost seem like that'll be impossible. The force that wants to stop that will convince everybody that it has now taken over the world.